Saturday, Bournemouth suffered their first defeat to a non-top four side since Brighton at home, who are our next opponents. Against Wolves at the weekend, Cherries huffed, they puffed. We went down to 10 men, still had chances, but ultimately we weren't good enough as Wolves' game plan worked. Next up then, as I said, it's the Seagulls, and at the moment, apart from that 7-0, which we won't mention the 7-0 against Forest where they lost 7-0, they're in tip-top form, and Mitoma has been magical. Welcome to the big match preview here on Back of the Net. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
We're an AFC Bournemouth fan channel, and the Seagulls, they are the meat in a Wolverhampton Wanderers sandwich. Of course, the 1-0 loss at the weekend. Next, it's going to be the Cup. If you're wondering where the second look is, we'll take a look at both games later on. It's a relatively short trip up the road to the Amex, to a stadium which, aside from the 5-0 win, has always pretty much been a tough place to go, including last season. I hate being that kind of fan, but it almost feels unfair. Go. Free header. That man again. Yeah, a 3-1 defeat, a harsh defeat. Well, we started off really, really well, I thought. We outplayed them, and I think on the vlog, I said something like, Tom, this actually feels unfair to be 1-1 at half-time. That was September 2023, so yeah, Dom opened the scoring. That was a long ranger, wasn't it?
Yeah, was that the keeper kind of messed around a little bit?
Yeah.
And then it was did it go down as a Kirker's own goal?
Yeah, Kirker's own goal.
And then
I think we were down there at half-time, Tom.
Yeah. I went down, I remember going down into the concourse and singing Bournemouth were 1-0 up, and I came back up and we were 2-1 down. So they obviously scored very quickly into the second half, I assume.
And he then scored a second, Mitoma, on 77 to then secure the win for the Seagulls. But of course, we played them this season as well at home, and that wasn't good either. They feel like a bit of a bogey side at the moment. We have had some good wins against them, of course, though. We did, season before that, beat them, 3-0?
Yeah, I didn't remember that one. But yeah, it was... I remember the one at home this season. They just felt like, I think I said it afterwards actually, because it was just before we were talking about the E word a little bit, and I was saying it looks like Brighton are just a little bit a step above us. That's how it felt in the game. Obviously, transpired that we've been on a really good run, but again, that bit of quality. João Pedro is always a good player. I think he's scored for Watford against us as well, actually. And Mitoma again always seems to pop up. They went down to 10, didn't they? Yeah,
and I thought, okay, this is a chance to get back into it, but
huffed and puffed again. We couldn't. Brooks did a really good goal actually off the bench, but too little, too late. But yeah, they're a difficult side. But hopefully we can step back up. Quick turnaround after a defeat. You can always look at that two ways, but hopefully we'll be looking at it as right. We've just lost. We haven't lost many games of late. Let's try and bounce back quickly.
Brighton could do the double over us if they get a victory against the Cherries. But look, Bournemouth are unbeaten in their last 7 Premier League away games, winning 5 and drawing 2. Also, the Cherries have scored at least twice in their last 8 on the road as well. The longest run by a side in the competition since Liverpool. And that was back between May and December 2021. So after our home defeat against Fabian Hürzeler's side, they were 5th in the table, 22 points after 12 games. Bournemouth, at the time, same number of games, we were in 13th. Now, going into this game, tables have turned slightly, and here you can see the league table. Cherries, at the moment, on 43 points, so Brighton on 40. We could brand this a European 6-pointer, Tom, because if we beat them, the gap 6 points. If they beat us, they won't overtake us because of the inferior goal difference, unless they smash us 6-0, which I can't see happening.
No one wins games like 7-0 and stuff in the Premier League. So no, I can't see that happening.
Never happens.
But it's like you say, it is big in that sense. When you look at the points, it's either go level or go 6 points ahead, which always feels like a big gap. And obviously it'll keep. I think everyone gets a little bit ahead of themselves. We got a massive run, and we talk about Champions League, and now we're going, oh God, can we hang on to Europe because we lost a game? I think there'll be lots of twists and turns. I think Brighton will find themselves in it, and they'll also find themselves back out of it again. It'll all be like that. And so many teams have to play each other on the same day that they can't all win. And, because we'll go, oh, damn, Villa won. Yeah, but they beat Chelsea. Damn, Newcastle won. Yeah, but they beat Forest. So it always can work both ways. But yeah, in terms of this fixture, it does feel a big one psychologically as well. 6 points all level.
One of the things that I just feel this season, I don't know whether it's because I'm a Bournemouth fan, therefore most of the news that I get on social media is AFCB stuff. But it feels like this season Brighton have almost gone under the radar a little bit, maybe because Forest and us have taken a lot of the media attention, and Brighton have just stayed down there. But now they could easily climb above us in the space of a couple of games, which is mad.
Yeah, I do wonder if sometimes, like you say, Bournemouth and Forest have been kind of the stories of the season, so it's been spoke about enough. I think it's maybe a compliment to Brighton that people go, that's what we think now.
Yeah.
But it's not a surprise for Brighton to be knocking on the door for Europe, is it? So, as you say, it means that people have probably not spoken about it as much. I think De Zerbi in particular was a real character, wasn't he? So I think sometimes it would get the limelight a bit more. But they're quietly, again, started to sneak up again. You go, hang on, they are going to be all right and potentially get Europe again. So, yeah, they're still a bloody good side. I still always think it's one of the toughest games going to Brighton, to be honest. Still got some really good players. So, yeah, wouldn't surprise me if they're in that European conversation throughout the rest of the season. I can't like him as much. I quite liked them under De Zerbi and that. I can't like him anymore because the manager's younger than me.
Not good.
It just makes you feel what is going on? He's so young.
In the fan cams after the Brighton game, I think you were slashing it down. It was just you, Tiggs and Ben that were doing it outside the club shop. And you said something which I've quoted up. You said that Brighton are a few years ahead of Bournemouth. Is that still the case? Even though we're ahead of them in the table? I mean, I know that football's that's a very short-termist view, but do you still feel that?
I think factually, yes, because the season hasn't ended yet, and kind of what I was meaning by that is that they've got into Europe before. We obviously haven't. We feel like we're trying to get there. And then when we come up against Brighton, who we were above in, who we were competing with in the league and stuff, they showed a little bit more nous, I felt. And they went down to 10 men as well. And I just felt they showed a little bit more know-how, which is probably why they've nicked in them European positions in the past and we haven't. But, remains to be seen at the end of the season. If we finish above them, then that's all a load of rubbish and a good little jinx by me, by the way. But, I felt like that. During the game, I felt like they just had a little bit more know-how. Players like Lewis Dunk, even Blaper, who got sent off. There's some players there that I just felt had a little bit more. They were a little bit calmer. We were a little bit chaotic, and they managed to calm the game. But since then, we've stepped up another gear, and they've had a few iffy results.
The Premier League table can change quickly. They're not as quick as the baseline tracker, where this weekend Bournemouth lost 3 points and Brighton gained 3 points. Of course, they smashed up Southampton at St Mary's 4-0. Bournemouth, of course, losing to Wolves meant that we went from plus 22 down to plus 19. Brighton are alongside us. Look at this, back of the net mug. It's a beautiful thing, and we've got more in stock, and we're shipping to America at the moment. If you want one, just head over to our Ko-fi. There is a little card if you're watching on YouTube on the mobile, or down in the description. Go and grab one. For this month, we are shipping to America because we found somewhere where we do it relatively cheap for the next month. So get one of these if you want one, or if you're in the UK, we'll be getting a supply out very soon. And some of them
I occasionally pop out to America, so that's handy.
Yeah, exactly. And some of them will personally deliver as well. So
what, the ones from America?
No.
Oh,
not those ones.
You fancy it?
Let's take a look at Brighton's recent results. We'll go then since the start of the year. There's one standout result in here which sees them concede a fair few goals. But when you look at every other game they've played, nearly every other game, you just think, how bizarre and out of character was that? But a fairly decent 1-1 against Arsenal to start the year, mate.
Yeah, it was. It was a decent point for them, obviously, against Arsenal. And then they, in the Cup, I remember saying that you look at all them, the fixtures in the FA Cup, and goes, I need banana skins. And I thought, Norwich on a bit of a run.
Yeah, true.
Brighton just showed they were too good. Big win at Ipswich, that can be a difficult place to go at times. And obviously, scoring 3 at Old Trafford, everyone does that.
Everyone does it.
The surprise one was losing at home to Everton, for sure.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
I remember being happy about that at the time, because obviously Everton are down there and Brighton were near us. the Forest one, as joking aside, as you can see by these results, is an anomaly. I mean, how that game was 7-0, it was mental game, and we had just beaten Forest 5-0.
Yeah.
So that's just the Premier League in a nutshell there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think joking aside, it was obviously just a real weird freak result for Brighton, because they followed it up with back-to-back wins against Chelsea.
Yeah.
2-1 and 3-0. So and then 4-0 against them lot down the road. So since the 7-0, they've got 100%. So it obviously didn't affect them, which is the main thing. I think a result like that sometimes can, cause the wheels to come off a little bit, and it certainly didn't.
I always like to relate professional football to my own footballing circumstances. Ryan and Kieran, our Aussie pals who come over every so often. Their dad, Rob, who used to live over here. They all used to live over here. When we played for Ferndown Locomotive, when we won the league in the Bournemouth football, I don't know what division it was in. I think we won by a canter, 9 points clear at the top. And one of the games we got smashed up 9-0.
Yeah,
it's like how?
Yeah, how did that?
It's so bizarre.
Yeah, weird, isn't it?
Let's check out our head-to-head. And look, we've played Brighton over nearly every footballing division there is, but we'll go back about 10 years or so. And look, start that since like 2013. You think, I tell you what, Bournemouth have got the rub of the green. Literally, look at those green W's there. But just go forward a little bit and you see that they've probably had it a little bit better than us. Yeah, in the first stint in the Premier League for AFC Bournemouth between the 2015-16 season and, of course, when we got relegated 5 seasons later, Bournemouth won 4 of their 6 meetings with the Seagulls. But since the return in 2022, they've lost 4 out of 5 against them, which ain't so good. Overall, in our away games at Brighton, we've won 12, drawn 15, lost 28 in all competitions. That's both home and away. Every competition there is. Won 45, drawn 29, lost 42. We've got the better record. Now, Brighton is a team that have played at a number of... I mean, you've probably seen them play not only the Amex, right?
Was it the Withdean?
Yeah, Withdean.
Yeah, I think they're the only 2. Was there another one as well?
Yeah, I mean, did you ever go to the Goldstone ground?
Oh, no, I've heard that. No, I went to that one of those.
And what about Priestfields? Because they played at Gillingham for a bit.
Did they?
Yeah,
I've been to Priestfields, but not for Brighton.
Yeah, they played all over the place. But yeah, they got their beautiful brand new home, which is miles away from anywhere. So we're looking forward to getting on the cram-packed trains and then waiting in a queue for about 2 hours after the game. Hey, there's a reason to watch it on TNT, and loads of people are. All of this match week is going to be featured on the old BT Sport. That's the new name for it, of course. And 7:30 kickoff, by the way. Don't forget that, whether you're going or you're watching on the box. I think you can see it on your interactive options. So yeah, you'll be able to watch it on there. Team news. We need to go over it. And we need to also briefly talk about what happened on Saturday from a Bournemouth perspective, losing to Wolverhampton Wanderers. It was so frustrating. I think Zabarnyi's red card, whether it was or not, there's a lot of conjecture out there. You can see why they're given.
Yes.
But I think it just helped Wolves' game plan, really, and they just made it really niggly, and they knew how to see that game out. It wasn't overly pretty, but they did what they had to do. A bit like what we did under Gary O'Neill when we won at their place.
Yeah, we won at their place, and we also won at their place the season after against Gary O'Neill with 10 men.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
Later in the game, but yeah, it was. But against Wolves, that's we had it against O'Neill where we went down to 10 men. Lewis Cook and lost by a goal, so it seems to be a bit one of them where they've got a number at our place, unfortunately. But yeah, as you say, mate, it was one of them. I would like them sort of tackles that. Oh yeah, that could be. Just go with the on-field. I don't understand if it's supposed to be clear and off it. Just leave it. If the ref's seen it, which he did, just leave it. Don't give him an angle, which makes it look a million times worse. But as soon as he goes to the screen, you can tell that he's obviously going to give it. My concern in the game more was that, right, okay, we've just had a man sent off about half hour or so into the game. Let's get to half-time 0-0 and regroup. 5 minutes later. We let in a silly goal. And then, because the game plan, if it's 0-0 at half-time, Wolves is, we've got to beat them, they've got less players. Let's go for them, and we could have had a counter-attacking approach. But because they nicked the goal, they didn't have to do that. Yeah. So then it was a really difficult game for us. So that was more the frustration that we couldn't get to half time. But yeah, listen, we didn't test the goalkeeper enough. But the lads put in a real shift against. You wouldn't have really known it was 10v11 the way we played. No. Second half, but they would also say that they managed it perfectly. So yeah, we'll see if what happens with Zabarnyi, but it was a real blow for us.
So I mean, at the time when I saw the tackle, I was like, "Good challenge, great tackle," and then it transpires that they had to take a look at it. The annoying thing is that it was on the part of the pitch where he really didn't need to make that challenge. Sure. It's not like they were in. So look, we're just for transparency, we are filming this after Andoni Iraola's presser, but before any potential decision has been made? Because it's become clear that the club have appealed it. Now, the appeal, so they're either appealing that it shouldn't be a red at all, or they're maybe appealing for it to be downgraded to one
game, maybe.
Rather than 3 games.
Yeah, I think because the 3 game is if it's a violent conduct, serious foul play, and it's difficult. That's obviously what they've judged it, so they've given it. But whether we're going, is that serious foul? We can appreciate the red, but is that really violent conduct when he's hit the ball? And if he's bounced over the ball, he hasn't meant to do it. I don't know what we're trying to do. Maybe we thought, maybe it'll take a while and then we can play in the next game. I don't know, but I always do think that, and clubs always say that you don't really appeal something unless you feel like you've got a chance by hearing stuff. So we'll have to wait and see, mate.
I think the thing that really strikes me is, if there is a situation whereby it's overturned, what you've got is a ref that gave a yellow, and then a group of people watching TVs decide it's a red, and then a group of people watching TVs a few days later actually think, no, it's not a red.
And that would just sum up everything with officiating and VAR, wouldn't it, really? But
absolutely.
I did, it was a disappointing one. But you don't want to, like I say, in the game itself, I think I could see why the red was given. I actually felt the ref was horrific, but not because of that decision. I just felt in general.
I think he sort of enabled Wolves' game plan. So, I know their fans won't see it, and they're just delighted to get the 3 points, I'm certain. But it's one where the sort of ramifications of the loss it could have been worse. Newcastle did leapfrog us after they beat Forest 4-3, but other than that, results sort of went for us. But as we saw from the league table earlier, the teams are clumping up behind us as well. So we keep on saying it's important we don't drop the ball. You predicted that Wolves win.
I did think that Wolves would be a tough one.
I said, I spoke to Jim Favola before the game. He said, saw the preview, saw that, Tom said that we'll lose. That's uncharacteristic of him. It's uncharacteristic, Jim, for Bournemouth to lose. So maybe, just maybe, whatever you say in this prediction might happen. That's all I'm saying. But look, it's not only a Brighton side brimming with confidence we got to face. One of their stars, of course, is someone who sticks the knife in a fair few times against the Cherries. Brighton's Kaoru Mitoma, of course. He's been directly involved in more Premier League goals against Bournemouth than he has any other side. That's 4 goals and 1 assist. He's their leading scorer with 7 goals, and he scored 4 in his last 6 league matches. And he is a threat. There was a time where he went almost a little bit off the boil, but he is back, isn't he? He's back.
Yeah, he's always a threat, and them stats don't surprise me because every time we play him, I always think God, is he good? And it'll be interesting to see what we have to do. And obviously, like we just mentioned about the Zabarnyi appeal, we have to wait and see because if Brighton fans don't know, we haven't had a right back for a long, long time. So we've been playing Lewis Cook there. Then at the weekend, we decided, James Hill's back. We could play someone who could play right back. And then because Zabarnyi got sent off, he had to go straight back in centre back and Cook back to right back. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But
it's like the world's most annoying Rubik's Cube on our side.
It's very, very true. But I think the problem is whoever's at right back, they're going to have such an eye on him because he's always a threat, not just against us, but always. And it didn't surprise me either he scored again at the weekend. But there's a lot of talent in and around him. I think Ruter's a very good player. Ruter or Rutter, however they pronounce it.
He's been directly involved in 7 goals in his last 8 appearances for Brighton in all competitions.
So, I always felt when because he was at Leeds, wasn't he? And when they went down, I thought, someone's got to get him, surely. And it wasn't anyone. Obviously, we got Adams and Sinisterra, and there was a few players going. I think Somerville went to West Ham. I thought, was anyone going to get this boy? Obviously, he went to Brighton, and he's starting to really show why they went for him now. João Pedro.
I was about to say, he's a threat, isn't he?
Top player. Even Minter's doing really, really well for him as well. So they've got good players all over the pitch, mate. My hope is that defensively with very much doubt, you'll tell me team lose, but I very much doubt Lewis Dunk's got a chance. So whatever you think of Lewis Dunk and his age and stuff, he's experienced. So losing him will be a blow.
But Webster's a decent.
Webster's decent, of course. They've still got good players. Of course, they've got good players, but I think losing Dunk will help us for sure.
We've got good players as well, though. Justin Cliver, he scored 9 away goals in the Premier League this season, with all of these coming in his last 7 appearances on the road in the competition. No Bournemouth player has ever scored 10 away goals in a single top-flight campaign.
So fancy him to do that this season.
So Brighton team news then. So Hertzler had his presser first thing on Thursday, whenever you're watching this. What's day today?
Yeah, it's not Thursday anymore.
What's day
Monday.
today?
We're playing them on
Monday,
Tuesday.
yeah, Monday morning. Lewis Dunk, no chance. Those were his words. No chance of him being back. Veltman and Danny Welbeck are what he called was a concern, but he's going to see how they do in training. So decisions will be made after that. Also out Jason Steele, James Milner, Kadioglu.
Yeah, it's not bad for me. I think 2 out of them 3 are older than the manager, by the way.
Yeah. Absolutely madness. But he was asked by Paul Belveston. Paul Belveston, by the way, he commented on our last preview.
He watched us, didn't he?
So he's not only a legend, but one thing I can realise, he can teleport, because he was at Brighton and then he was at the Bournemouth presser. I mean, I know it's only 2 hours up the road and he could have done it quite comfortably. But for me, just watching one YouTube video where he's there that morning and then all of a sudden he's at Dean Court asking Iraola the questions.
Love that.
Fair play to you for doing that. But he asked him about our style, and Hertzer said Bournemouth style is clear. It's very intense and it will be a challenge to compete with them. In terms of what Iraola said then, of course, the Zabarnyi thing a bit up in the air.
And then he went, well, not sure, went trained yet.
Yeah, so
we're not sure.
We don't know. So it sounds like Sunday was a day of recovery and they're going to be training this afternoon/evening and then he'll be able to work out the decisions. He said, I don't know if we have any fitness concerns. We have an appeal which will be resolved this afternoon. Now, with regards to appeals, Tom, let me know how it works, because could the suspension ever get worse because of it?
I think there is if they deem it to be frivolous and that frivolous, then they can add an extra game on. I'd be surprised, because if they deem it that frivolous, you go, well, that ref's probably rubbish then, because he didn't send him off in the real time. Yeah. So yeah, I'd be surprised, mate. But yeah, there is a case they can do that. But yeah, as you say, not really sure exactly who's going to be available. I think we can pretty much confirm that Celesi, Smith, Araujo, and obviously now will still be out anyway. But Evers obviously back and available for the bench, I would have thought, which is positive. We're starting to get a few back.
Few people saying why wasn't Ever brought on against Wolves, but it's not worth. I mean, obviously not worth the risk, is it? And I think Iraola underlined that it's just a kind of match sharpness thing for him. Yeah,
and I think he said he's fit enough to start, but if he starts, I don't know how long he's going to last. Yeah. But equally, I think when you're obviously chasing the game and you've got a man less, the last thing you want to do is bring someone on who's not had the sharpness, because you just need someone to be sharp for the last 5 minutes, don't you? So, yeah, I kind of understood it. Didn't expect Ever to come on in them circumstances, but it just means it's another game ticked away where he's going to be closer to be getting involved, mate. So I expect him to hopefully play a part in this one.
Can I do your favourite bit of the show?
I know what you're doing.
Can I do your favourite bit?
Go on.
The referee, Michael Oliver. And we haven't lost a game with him in charge so far this season. Away at Nottingham Forest, draw. 2 home games against Southampton, easy. Manchester City, easy. There you go. Things are looking good for this one.
Don't mind that.
Let's do a played for both then. Bournemouth and Brighton and Hove Albion. And we've got a team formation which looks like a sort of, 4-3-3 here. And we're going to start with the goalkeeper, AB, and I can tell you right now, it's not Asmir Begovic.
No, and I had one goalkeeper in my head, and it's not AB.
Oh, was it?
DB, David Button. AB. Go on, give me a clue. I can't think who AB is.
Alan.
Oh, Alan Blaney.
Correct.
We'll go Marcos Painter's left back.
Yes.
Steve Cook, Tommy Elphick. What a centre-half pairing that is.
Yeah, hell of a...
DM... Is it the one that plays everywhere? Denny Mundy.
Yeah.
I never saw him play.
Yeah, well done. Very, very good.
I'm going to go Crystal Warren. Yeah, he played for him. Adam Lallana.
Correct.
WF. I've had WF is always the same man. So
but it's not.
It's not Wayne Faraday.
No.
Oh.
It's the other one who's got Poole Town links. Well, I think we saw him play at Poole Town, didn't we?
Where's Fogden?
Foggy.
Foggy, of course.
And then we've got the 3 up top. No.
LB.
He's simply the...
Oh, Leon Best. Now,
I think I made that joke last time.
You probably did. Well, he's played for a few, played to both, so it could be. And that's definitely Sam Vokes and Glenn Murray.
There you go.
I'll take that.
Any more for any more? Let us know in the comments. Mark Cole, I'm expecting at least 3 from you. Statman Cole.
Yeah, I'm thinking out. Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head, mate.
No. The average positions of the starting lineups can be seen on screen if you're watching YouTube. There appears to be no clear pattern, although the formation at Forest stands out as being particularly heavy in attacking. And they played, of course, a counter-attacking team who exploited the gaps behind a relatively high line, which is something that we like to do, but also they were chasing the game very early doors as well. So that probably explains that. And in the comparison stats, as you can see on screen for the first time in a few weeks, Bournemouth are not the dominant side in the underlying stats. Brighton have had more attempts, significantly more big chances, conceded less attempts and less big chances. That said though, Bournemouth have scored more goals and conceded fewer goals. Brighton have the better XG stats, both offensively and defensively, but they've got one more error to their name. Let's predict the teams, come on. Okay then, so this is what we've got then. Brighton in a 4-2-3-1. Tom, what are you going for?
I'm going to stick obviously with Verbruggen.
Yeah.
Going to continue in goal. I'm going to bring. I'm going to put Lamptey to right back. Considering no Dunk, it's going to be Van Heck and Webster again, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm going to bring Estepinian back in at left back. I think he was kind of rotated out in the last game. Belabor will definitely play, I'm sure. I'm going to bring O'Reilly in just because you always think when there's a weekend and then a midweek game, they might make a few changes. And O'Reilly hasn't played a massive part in the last few after being quite decent beforehand. So I'm going to bring him in. Minter playing off that right-hand side. Mitoma definitely will play off the left. Yeah. And go Ruta just in behind João Pedro. They've got loads of options, but that's what I'm going to go with. They played so well going forward in the last game that I don't see them changing that front four.
Of course, they've got an FA Cup match, haven't they? I was just looking on the Sunday. They are playing Newcastle away, which will be a hell of a trip for them, but one that I think they'll be wanting to go through or try to test them. So I think there might be some considerations there, of course, with regards to the weekend as well, as will there be for us, of course. So Andoni Iraola then in a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, Kepa, Arrizabalaga in goal, of course. I'm going to move Cookie back to right back.
Okay.
Assuming Zabs is not available, it will be James Hill and Dean Houston at centre backs with Kirk as at left back.
If Zabs was available, would it be a case of putting Hill on the right or just literally just taking
him out? I think it might just be taking him out.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he'll want Adams and Christie in the middle, so I'm going to go with them two. I'm going to bring Brooks back in. Brooks never done anything wrong to go out of the side. I think he just tried to mix it up, but Tav did have a long injury. He's come in and played a lot of football in a short space of time since being back, so I'm going to take him back out, put Brooksy on the right, Justin Clivert, continue in the 10, Semenyo off the left, and Dango Ouattara.
Oh, Dango Ouattara. I thought you might say Evan Nilsson.
No, I still think Dango lead the line.
I think we'll see some minutes for Evan Nilsson, though.
I think there's a chance he'll come on in this one for sure. But yeah, I don't think you need to change too much for us. But as you say, with both sides, quick turnaround, it all depends on the legs for all of them.
One of the bright spots of fan cams on Saturday after our defeat, one was Little Josh, who...
you know me, I don't advocate that.
What he said on camera, go back and see Josh Kay, see what he says. Unreal from him there. But another bright spot was the fact that people could pick out Tyler Adams as being one of the stars. I mean, he only came on relatively late, but they said we looked a lot better when he was on. And to have that from the off, I think he had a bit of a fever or something last week, wasn't overly well. So yeah, I think that it would be good to have him starting. So yeah, really, really... I don't know. I feel almost optimistic with this. Let's go for our predictions then. Firstly, I want yours. I want yours. So if you're watching, or even if you're listening on the pod, head to YouTube, and just type it in. Now, got a few stats on evening kickoffs, mate.
Go on.
Brighton, I'm reading this, have won both their evening kickoffs in the Premier League so far in 2025, so beating Ipswich 2-0, Chelsea 3-0. They didn't win a single such match in the whole of 2024. This year, this calendar year, they're doing a lot better. Bournemouth, though, this is better. We're unbeaten in our last 10 midweek Premier League matches, though... Their last such defeat was against Brighton in April 2023. These stats, honestly, they mess with your head, don't they?
Yes.
Brighton, of course, they beat Chelsea 3-0 in their last Premier League home game, ending a run of 5 without a win at the Amex. They last won consecutive home league matches in September 2023, the second of which was against Bournemouth. So look, I give with one hand and take with the other. Does that change anything about what you're predicting for this one?
I kind of felt like I knew what I was going to predict, and now I'm just going to change it and try.
Oh my god!
I was going to say, I think there could be goals in this one. I think I was going to go for a 2-2, but I'm going to go 3-2. Evan Nilsson off the bench. We're going to nick it. We're going to surprise them, and I think we're going to want to bounce back after a defeat. And yeah, I fancy us to get something, but I fancy us to have another little special one on the road, mate. What do you think? What are you going for?
4-2.
Bournemouth.
Oh,
come on. Never know, mate.
I mean, it won't. I could. 4-2 is what I'm going for. Look, pop your predictions down below. Make sure you don't forget. You can do us a couple of favours if you like this video.
Yeah, make sure you click the like button. Click the big fat subscribe button as well. That's the most important. And if you click the little bell thingy, then you'll see when all the videos are out. So it'd be very much appreciated.
And if you're listening via the pod, make sure you give us a review. Is this the way to Barcelona? Well, look, Brighton first, and then we could think about Barcelona. Up the Cherries.
God, I'm going to have to think of like a Conference League team to do it for. Is this the way to Zagreb or something? Right, is Zabarnyi playing yet or not?